It's day 451. It's also July 30th, 2020, and we are in Cut Bank, Montana.
You ever wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what am I doing? And more importantly, why? Yeah, me too. Hi, my name's Craig, and this is my story. A story about life out there. For visuals while listening, search Life Out There on your favorite social media platform or use the links in the podcast description.
You know, it's funny. I really didn't want to leave Craig, Montana for some reason. But at the same time, I felt like with all the information I now had, it was still only half the story. There was still so much more. I now understood how my grandfather came to be where he was when he was there. I also understood that for her entire life, from the age of 16, my grandmother was by his side on that adventure. So what about her legacy? Who and where did she come from? And how is it that she met a young man of 22 years and married him in Boulder, Montana in 1931? And then, after Grandpa's time in the service, why would they decide to call Fargo, North Dakota home? And Fargo is also the birthplace of my mom. And Fargo Central High is where she met my dad. Just as close in my DNA as the Craig name is that of a man named Charles Patrick Jones, my dad, and a man who I know little to nothing about. Could it be that Fargo, North Dakota could provide me with some sort of connection? Or at least maybe a few answers? As I had so clearly learned in Craig, there's only one way to know for sure. I have to go to Fargo. But it would not be a rush to Fargo. I made sure to take the time to see more of this place I suddenly felt like I was from. Maybe not born here, but nonetheless, the place where it all began. I needed to see it, just be in it for a while. We'd definitely be taking our time. In driving east across the top of Montana, things quickly flatten out and become very agricultural to the south. But all the while, those great Rocky Mountains follow along to the north. The hayfields and ranches continue, but I started to see large stands of corn and vast wheat fields, even a wind turbine farm generating electricity for far-off communities. The wind park, just outside Cut Bank, provided the perfect stop to grab some shut-eye for the night and read about this place called Cut Bank. It's the county seat of Glacier, Montana, and was appropriately named for the creek running along the outskirts of town. And according to the city's official Chamber of Commerce website, the Blackfeet Indians described the stream as the river that cuts into the White Clay Bank. In the early 1800s, Captain Meriwether Lewis, of Lewis and Clark fame, led a small group of men up the North Fork of the Marias River, now known as Cut Bank Creek. Since that time, visitors have continued to enjoy traveling to Cut Bank. With the majestic Rocky Mountains on one side and gently rolling hills and wheat fields on the other, and watching the sunset over all this and the sun rise the following morning, it is no mystery why so many keep coming here. Today, Cut Bank is a community of around 3,000, but began life in 1891 with the arrival of the Great Northern Railway. It grew quickly as a railway hub, and its history is closely tied to that of the Lewis and Clark expedition, with several historically significant sites in the area. And learning that we were in Blackfoot country, we'd add another name to the list of Native Americans we'd learn about. And an interesting turn a little earlier in the day, as we zigzagged our way across the area, I spotted a well-traveled gravel road leaving the highway and offering an escape from the asphalt and into those Rocky Mountains. We traveled the road up into the mountains, enjoying the scenery, and then we came across a bit of a pullout. It looked like a great spot to stop, enjoy a ham sandwich while walking about with Dougie. As we headed back towards Vasilando, we were approached by a law enforcement vehicle, a black and white SUV with the bold lettering across the side that read Blackfeet Nation Law Enforcement Services. The officer asked how we were doing, and it's always fun to watch folks take note of our Washington state plates. But I suppose they encounter folks from just about everywhere around here. I explained, holding my sandwich in the air and pointing at Dougie, that we just pulled off for some lunch and a walk around. Sure is pretty awesome out here, I said. Yup, we like it, he smiled. But then, it seems a bit of this dang pandemic is waiting most everywhere we go. The officer, almost awkwardly, went on to explain that the reservation had taken pretty aggressive steps to protect the community of some 17,000. And those steps included closing the Glacier National Park entrance, prohibiting visitors, and enforcing a stay-at-home order. We both grinned, sorta looked around at all the wide open all around us, as if to highlight the fact that we understood the irony in what he was asking, as he politely pointed us back towards the highway and off the reservation. Stupid pandemic. A bit of reading later would tell us that the Blackfeet Nation is a federally recognized tribe of the Blackfoot people. And the Blackfeet Indian Reservation, just west of Cut Bank, covers parts of Glacier and Pend Oreille counties, sharing borders along the way with Canada. And the Blackfeet people have lived in the area since the 17th century. They were originally from the woodlands north and west of the Great Lakes, but they moved to the northern plains due to pressure from British traders. Once they arrived here, well, they managed to keep this, all of it, all to themselves, for centuries, before those pesky European explorers and settlers started showing up. And clearly, they're a hardy people. The natural beauty around here can be breathtaking, but it comes with a cost. Long, cold, and dry winters. The area often finds itself being the coldest location in the lower 48 states, and the summers? They're pretty short and wetter than most. So, having just been booted off the reservation, we wandered back down that gravel road, back out to the highway, and towards Cut Bank, where we'd find our spot for the night. A pretty awesome spot, too, amongst the rolling hills of a wind farm. The massive wind turbines surrounding us, amongst the foothills of those Rocky Mountains, is a great place to stare at that sunset. And yup, there's all the obvious. A variety of outdoor activities including stream fishing, tubing, boating, upland bird and waterfowl hunting, bird watching, camping, and hiking. There's even a network of hiking trails known as the Cut Bank Trail System. It runs along the Cut Bank Creek and offers up some pretty amazing scenery from what I can tell. Another tight-knit community in rural America. They host several community events every year. The annual Lewis and Clark Days Festival, which features live music, a chili cook-off, a parade, a car show, and more. Even some not-so-obvious factoids, like the Cut Bank meteorite. In 1892, a meteorite fragment weighing over 200 pounds was discovered here, near Cut Bank. And the meteorite would find its way to the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., where it remains to this day on display. And Cut Bank is also home to the world's largest penguin statue, a quirky 27-foot-tall statue in the heart of the town. A bit of an odd landmark to lay claim to, but seems to draw plenty each year. The internet also tells of historical murals all over the historic buildings of downtown Cut Bank, featuring artist depictions of the town's history, including its homesteading roots, agriculture, and the Lewis and Clark expedition. And the Glacier County Historical Museum. This really sounds like a pretty cool place. It offers an overnight in history program where visitors can stay in a caboose or a 1917 homestead house or even a 1935 oil workers house. A pretty cool way to experience life in the old days here in Cut Bank. Calling it a night, watching twilight turn to dark. And I pondered the 827 miles between us and Fargo, North Dakota. We'll head out east in the morning. And I wonder what we'll learn there.
Turns out, this thing called life comes with a lot of rules. Maybe it's time to break a few. Because you can. No, seriously. You can.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.